It is a second lecture of the series of parts of speech. Now we will discuss pronouns. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is defined as a word or phrase that is used as a substitution for a noun or noun phrase, which is known as the pronoun's antecedent. Pronouns are short words and can do everything that nouns can do and are one of the building blocks of a sentence. Common pronouns are he, she, you, me, I, we, us, this, them, that. A pronoun can act as a subject, direct object, indirect object, object of the preposition, and more, and takes the place of any person, place, animal, or thing. So coffee becomes it, Barbara becomes she, Jeremy becomes he, the team becomes they, and in a sentence, Barbara drinks a cup of coffee. Every afternoon could become she drinks a cup of it every afternoon, or even she drinks it every afternoon, where the it would substitute the cup of coffee, not just the coffee. Without pronouns, we would constantly have to repeat nouns, and that would make our speech and writing repetitive. Not to mention cumbersome. Without pronouns, Barbara drinks a cup of coffee every afternoon. She likes to have it before dinner. Would be Barbara drinks a cup of coffee every afternoon. Barbara likes to have the cup of coffee before dinner. Using pronouns helps the flow of sentences and makes them more interesting. There are some examples of pronouns: he, it, you, I, they, we, how, him, them, however, anyone, something, nobody. Pronouns examples in the following sentences are in bold for essay identification. Billy, Karen and I were playing poker with friends. We were playing poker with friends. Illy loves watching movies. She loves watching movies, especially if they are comedies. Will Daniel be going to circus with Sarah? Will he be going there with her? As mentioned, pronouns are usually used to replace nouns. However, they can also stand in for certain adverbs, adjectives, and other pronouns. Almost any time you refer to a person, animal, place, or thing, you can use pronouns to add interest and make your speech or writing flow better. In nearly all cases, a pronoun must follow an expression called an antecedent. This basically means that a pronoun can only really be understood in the context of prior information about the noun. Example, if we use the pronoun she in a sentence, we will only be able to understand it if we know how she is. Though an antecedent, perhaps giving the person's name, is usually supplied first. In the example above, Barbara drinks a cup of coffee every afternoon. If we had never mentioned Barbara or what she drinks, it would be unclear if we said she drinks it every afternoon. Your reader would be confused and wonder how she is and what does she drinks: wine, water, lemonade. Once Barbara has mentioned, we would use the pronouns she and her later in the writing in order to stop repeating the proper noun Barbara and possessive proper noun Barbara's. Barbara went to the restaurant for dinner with her friends. She was very hungry, but her friends would not stop chatting. Eventually, Barbara decided to take matters into her own hands and she demanded that they stop talking. Imagine how that sentence would read if it kept repeating Barbara and Barbara's pronouns have acted to. Imagine how that sentence would read if it kept repeating Barbara and Barbara's pronouns have acted to make the writing tighter and arguably much more elegant. This is just a basic example of the use of pronouns. They act in many ways to help make speech and writing more lucid and dynamic. Now we will discuss about the types of pronouns. Pronouns can be divided into numerous categories including indefinite pronouns, those referring to one or more unspecified objects, beings or places such as someone, anybody, nothing. Notice in the examples below that there is no set position for where an indefinite pronoun will appear in a sentence. Indefinite pronoun examples: anyone, somebody, whichever, however, other, something, nobody. Indefinite pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. Would anyone like a coffee? Take whatever you like. Jamie took one cookie and Ben took the other. Whoever owns this is in big trouble. I want someone to move this now. Indefinite pronouns can also be used to create sentences that are almost abstract. Examples could include this, all, such, and something. All was not lost, such is life. Something tells me this would not end well. Personal pronouns, those associated with a certain person, thing, or group, all except you, have distinct forms that indicate singular and plural number. Personal pronouns are always specific and are often used to replace a proper noun, someone's name, or a collective group of people or things. Personal pronouns have two main groups, one referring to the subject of the sentence and one to the object. The first is used to replace the subject of the sentence: I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. Notice that you is repeated as you can be singular, addressing one person, or plural, addressing a group of people. Personal pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. Jack and David are friends. They play basketball together. I have more money than he. Replaces the object of the sentence: me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. Consider the sentence again. We will be late if you don't hurry up. In the above example, we is the subject of the sentence, but you is the object. Other examples of pronouns replace the object. Peter sung the song to me. Missing the train will cause us to be late. She packed them tightly in suitcase. Reflexive pronouns, those preceded by the adverb, adjective, pronoun, or noun to which they refer, and ending in self or selves. Reflexive pronouns are used to refer back to the subject or clause of a sentence. The list of reflexive pronouns includes myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Reflexive pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. Count yourselves. Annie only had herself to blame. Peter and Paul had baked themselves cakes. Demonstrative pronouns, those used to point to something specific within a sentence. There are only four demonstrative pronouns: this, that, these, those. But the usage can be a bit tricky at times. This and that are singular, whereas these and those are plural. As you have may notice, there can be some crossover with indefinite pronouns when using this and that. Demonstrative pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. I prefer this. These are beautiful, but those belong to Danny. Did you see that? While it can be confusing, this, that, these, and those can sometimes be used as demonstrative adjectives. The difference between the two is that a demonstrative pronoun replaces the noun, and a demonstrative adjective qualifies the noun. I prefer this photo. These flowers are beautiful, but those vases belong to Danny. Did you see that rainbow? It should be clear that this, that, these, and those in the example above are not pronouns because they are being used to qualify the noun, but not replace it. A good trick of for remembering the difference is that a demonstrative pronoun would still make sense if the word one or ones followed it in the sentence. I prefer this one. These ones are beautiful. Did you see that one? Those ones belong to Danny. Possessive pronouns. Those designing possession or ownership. Examples include mine, its, hers, his, yours, ours, theirs, whose. Consider the example. This cat is mine. Mine is indicating possession. That the cat belongs to me. Incidentally, this in the sentence is not a pronoun but demonstrative adjective as it qualifies the noun. You will find that possessive pronouns often follow phrases that contain demonstrative adjectives. Possessive pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. Are these bananas yours? This money is ours. Is the fault theirs or yours? Relative pronouns, those which refer to nouns mentioned previously, acting to introduce an adjective relative clause. They will usually appear after a noun to help clarify the sentence or give extra information. Examples include how, which, that, whom, whose. Consider the following sentences. The man who stole the car went to jail. The relative pronoun who acts to refer back to the noun man. It acts to open a clause by identifying the man as not just any man, but the one who stole the car. Relative pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. The table which sits in the hallway is used for correspondence. The car that crashed into the wall was below. This is the woman whose key you found. Interrogative pronouns, those which introduce a question. Examples include whom, who, whose, what, which. We can usually identify an interrogative pronoun by the fact that they often appear at the beginning of a question. Interrogative pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. Who will come to the party? Which do you prefer? What do you need? Whose clothes are on the floor? Whom did you tell? Whom and who are often confused, and even native speakers will use them incorrectly. Who will replace the subject of a sentence, whereas whom will replace the direct or indirect object. A good tip for deciding which to use is that you can replace who in the sentence with a personal pronoun and it will still make sense. Who will come to the party? I will come to the party. The same system would not work for whom. Did you tell? I did you tell. Reciprocal pronouns, those expressing mutual actions or relationship, i.e., one another. There are just two reciprocal pronouns in English, one another and each other. They are mainly used to stop unnecessary repetition in a sentence, but also to reinforce the idea that collective and reciprocal actions are happening to more than one person or thing. John and Mary gave each other gifts. Using each other allows us the sentence to be more efficient than John gave Mary a gift and Mary gave a gift to John. The countries worked with one another on national security. In this example, one another works to suggest that the action of working is being reciprocated back and forth by the more than one country. Reciprocal pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. The boxers punch each other. The couple love one another deeply. Intensive pronouns, those ending in self or selves and that serve to emphasize their antecedents. These are almost identical to reflexive pronouns, but rather than just referring back to the subject of the sentence, they work to reinforce the action. In many cases, the sentence would still make sense without the intensive pronoun. Intensive pronoun examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. I will do it myself. We made this me ourselves. Our nation speaks for itself through elections. Notice how the intensive pronoun is working to emphasize the statement. The sentence would still technically be correct without the intensive pronoun, but it adds some important context to its meaning. It was a comprehensive lecture on the functions of pronoun and how it works. Thanks for watching.